Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland, but also greetings, future version of Brickey. Brickey here. This video today is a special video because it's a video that I'm making for myself at some point in the very near future, but hopefully others can enjoy it as well. If you are watching this now, future Brickey, well then you've learned the news that Downtown Disney has closed yet again due to a regional stay-at-home order because the virus is getting bad. Now, if you remember future Brickey, you made a video about this back on Monday, and now when you're recording this video in middle timeline Brickey on Friday, it now feels like it's not a matter of if, but when Downtown Disney is gonna have to reclose. It feels like any day now we're gonna learn that the ICU capacity is gonna fall below 15%, which is gonna put a regional stay-at-home order for everyone, meaning restaurants will only be able to do carry-out food only and no outdoor eating. So if you can't actually sit around the Disneyland Resort and eat your food, would anybody really go through parking and security just to get food to take it back home? I mean, it's already cold by the time you get back to the car. If there's no way to actually eat at the resort, there's no reason to sell food at the resort. And shops will have to go from 25% capacity down to 20% capacity. But if shops can only have 20% of their customers in there, and you're already missing half of the Downtown Disney financial equation of selling food, can you make it on just 20% of shoppers? And how many people even show up? And there will probably be an enforcement on large public gatherings, which bingo, that's what Downtown Disney qualifies as. So, you know, it's probably done any day now. And if for some reason we did make it to Christmas, I don't even see how it would be able to survive in January and February, because right now we don't even have the seed from Thanksgiving when everybody got together and broke the rules. And you know, if people got together for Thanksgiving, they're not going to stay apart for Christmas. So yeah, doomed. So I know you're sad, buddy. And just as life was starting to feel exciting and somewhat normal, it all happened to get 2020 on you all over again. So here are 13 things to cheer you up while Downtown Disney and the Disneyland Resort has to shut its gates once again. Number 1, you already got inside of a Disneyland park inside of 2020, which way back in March and April and May and June, that wasn't feeling possible at all. So remember, you already did get your Christmas wish. You've been able to go into DCA now 3 different times, and hold on to that feeling. And you were smart. The last time you were there, you said, I want to take a minute by the fountain because I feel like this might be my last time for a while. I don't want to take any of this for granted. And you didn't. So big accomplishment. You got back into a park in California in 2020 when there was many days this year where you didn't think that was going to happen. Number 2, you've done this once before. You can do this again. It was earth-shattering when the park closed the first time. And remember when you did a video way early back in 2020 talking about how the parks in Asia had closed and you could never imagine not having your precious Disneyland open? Well, I'm not going to say that you caused this, but you were definitely thinking about this way before. And sure, losing the park does make you sad because it's a big part of everything that you love to do with your free time. But you've done it before and you've learned how to thrive while the park was closed, so you can do it again. And speaking of learning how to thrive while the park was closed, number 3, virtual Disneyland that you created is a lot of fun. Remember when you saw people playing Call of Duty and you said to yourself, if somebody could turn Disneyland into Call of Duty and people could watch you play along inside of Disneyland, that there would be a market for that people would enjoy going into the park with you. And you created virtual Disneyland, and you've been taking all of your new community members in there with you, and you've been having a great time. I mean, seriously, memorable times and creating a synthetic Disney rush. Now, shameless plug, the next meetup in virtual Disneyland is Sunday, December 13th, where I'm going to recreate all of the Christmas activities that we can't really have in real Disneyland. But virtual Disneyland, it has been an amazing thing, and it's still open. You can always go there whenever you want to. And you have that community of people that enjoy going there with you, and it feels just like being in the park with buds. Well, as close as it can be without being in the real thing. Nothing's as good as the real thing, but it's a close second. Number 4, Disneyland has learned how to get aggressive during these pandemic times. They have learned how to adjust to everything that's going on, and it's become exciting again to go back to the resort and see what new things are opening, how things have shifted around. Like the Sim City factor that you love so much about the resort is back. And now they know how to do this. So even if they have to close for 3 weeks or 3 months, when they open back up, they know how to do this. No more dragging their heels and waiting to see what everybody else does. Disney knows they're here. They know that they're stuck in this moment, and they know how to adjust and keep the show going. So big win, that momentum won't be lost. And number 5, it's just closing for now. It's not going to be gone forever. Look at you. The last photo that you took inside of the park back in March, the feeling of that place will never go away. And it's going to take a little bit longer to get there than what we first originally thought, but you will get back. And this closure is just another bump in a long and winding road that is able to build character and give you perspective on the things that you truly love, how much they mean to you, and getting your brain adjusted to not taking all these amazing things that we had for granted. Remember the favorite saying of yours that you got from your friend Dan Stiles, that we were borrowing too much fun from the future? Well, with over 500 trips to Disneyland, you borrowed way too much fun from the future. Now you have to go back into that fun, relive it, and that's what it's there for. It was a loan, and now you got to pay your debt. But just keep in mind, this is just a moment in time. And when you're looking at your entire life, 2020 and 2021 will just be a blip on the radar, which has been a fantastic existence. And number 6, maybe not going to Disneyland will save a cast member's life or another guest's life. I mean, after all, this is a serious pandemic that we're in the middle of, and you made a deal with yourself. As long as it was legal to go, you were going to go. Well, if it's no longer legal, then it's maybe time to think there is a reason. Do what you can, be a good member of your community, be a good citizen of California, not just of Disneyland. And remember, these are rules that are put in place so that we can all do our part to save a life. And even though you're not in the high risk, people that you love are. And hey, you've had plenty of Disneyland, plenty of downtown Disneyland. Can't you sit on the bench for a couple of weeks if that means the safety of your fellow citizens? You know the answer to that is yes. I don't even know why I have to tell you. You're so hard-headed sometimes. And number 7, let's be honest. You were starting to feel nervous going to the resort anyway. So maybe this is a good excuse for you to stay away, because you know that you can't stay away on your own. You don't have the willpower to resist the Disneyland Resort. But the last couple of times going, started to think about the numbers, how the virus was building, and you started to have a little bit of little mental thing going on when you were driving down to the resort. Now, when you got there and you got high on the magic, you didn't think about it. But what happened when you came home? Every little cough, every little sneeze, you started to become a little bit of a crazy person thinking, oh no, I've been terribly irresponsible. What have I done? And then 2 days later, you feel fine and, you're ready to go again. Maybe this is the excuse that you need to do the safe thing. But you were feeling nervous. Be honest with yourself. And don't forget, you used to live on the East Coast. You used to live in New York. And after you discovered your love of Disneyland, you only got to go like every 6 months when you were trying to move to California. This isn't a thing that you always had. Go back to New York when you were thinking about, I can't wait to go back to California in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, scream. And when you would get there, it felt so great, and you would make the most of that one day you would get, because you knew you might not be back for another 5, 6, 7 months. Go back to that part of you, or go way far back to 2011, 550 something visits to Disneyland ago, when you went to Disneyland for the very, very first time on a random Friday in July. Remember? You didn't know that this existed. You always thought, how good could Disneyland be? It's in the middle of California. It's in the middle of a big city. Orlando has all this extra land. You believed in the hype that Walt Disney World was far superior to Disneyland. And then you saw it. And then you fell in love with it. Remember, you've lived more of your life not knowing this thing exists than you have going to it once a week. Go back to that person and remember, ignorance about Disneyland, it is a bliss. The less you know, no, you can't say that, because now you know too much and you know how much you love it and how much you need it. But do remember, there were decades of your life where you didn't know this thing exists, and you did all right. And number 10, Disneyland is best spent with friends. Remember your good buddy Sean Mort, who's stuck over in England? Right, your best friend can't even come to the country that you live in right now. And a lot of your other friends that do live here, they don't want to go to the park right now because they want attractions. They want the full experience. You're going by yourself because nobody else wants to go. Your wife is terrified. I mean, you're in a weird spot. Maybe if everybody else doesn't want to go, you shouldn't be the one that's going, or have the patience and know that every little step that we take now gets us through coronavirus even faster. And there will be a future where you can get back to going to the park with your friends. I mean, people have traveled from all around the world just to go to Disneyland with you. Aren't those some of the best memories that you spent with close friends, new friends, and people that you'd always want to meet? Hey, you've learned how to do it by yourself. You've learned how to hold up the camera and virtually, synthetically make it feel like you've got so many friends there with you. But if you're looking in your heart of hearts, Disneyland is always best spent with the people that you love. And it's been a long time since you got to do that. And if this is a step towards recovery, and hey, I'm ready to take that vaccine tomorrow to get my life back to normal, then maybe this is a step that needs to be taken so we can get back to moments like number 11, it will feel even better when you get back. Remember how good it felt when you got to go to just the grand opening of downtown Disney? That first day back on the resort felt amazing. Yeah, you couldn't go into either one of the parks, but just walking around, hearing the music, being in that atmosphere of a place where everybody brings out the best version of themselves, where happiness is contagious, and during the pandemic, everyone is living by the same set of rules. Whether they're believe in it or forced, visually, you get to see everyone behaving the exact same way, which is incredibly rare. That day felt great, and when you get back in, that will feel just as good or maybe even better, because now you're used to what this sort of half step of Disneyland feels like. You've adjusted your emotions and experiences toward it, and you've come to really enjoy it. Just think, this closure could be one step in the right direction to the eventual reopening, where each week, each month, it's going to feel better and better and better as it gets closer and closer and closer to what normal used to be. And number 12, you have so much to be grateful for. Disneyland is just the cherry on top of what has been a completely great life. You've beaten the odds, you've gone further than so many people ever thought that you would, and you're literally living inside of a life that if 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old you could see you now, middle Brickeys telling future Brickey that past Brickey has no reason to be upset because you are living a life that literally is the one that you always dreamed of having. And not many people can say that. So yes, the thing that you love the most, your precious pastime is gone, but it's a great time to reflect about all the great things that you still do have and always will have. Your memories, your experiences, no one, no state, no governor, no president, no pandemic can ever take those away from you. Good job, bud. And number 13, Disneyland will never, ever truly be closed as long as there's imagination left. You have taken so many people inside of the park, even though it's got a padlock on it. You've taken so many people there with the podcast, with Jerrod and Philander and other guests that have stepped in to sit with you for a virtual stroll around Disneyland. You created virtual Disneyland where you've taken people in there through your live streams. And in your imagination, it feels real when you go there. And remember the joy of every time you see a comment or a repost that you brighten someone's day because you gave them the gift of going to Disneyland in a time when that is literally, physically, and emotionally, well, not emotionally, but the first two, completely impossible to do. Your imagination has kept the park open, and the park is founded on the idea of imagination. You may not have a citizen of Disneyland button, but friend, you have been one extraordinary citizen of Disneyland, and you've got that to prove that your imagination has kept this thing you love open and given you the ability to still share it with so many other people. And yes, it will get harder to keep making videos when there's not new things happening, but you're creative, you can do it, and the people that watch these videos deserve it. You're building a community full of people that are like-minded, that love the park, but also love it for its creativity, for the artistic design behind it. You're building a community full of people just like you, a community that you always wanted to be a part of, and you owe it to your own personal creative endeavors and their investment in you and the channel to keep on making videos. It's just going to get harder, and you've never backed down from a challenge, and you've always known that creativity has been the way to come out a victor on any challenge that has come your way professionally. You got this. And if you don't got this, then you can just comment on whatever horrible videos that you do make, and congratulations, Brickey, you might win the spider bot that you bought as a giveaway. But seriously, if you've watched this video, if you've enjoyed it, leave a comment below. Every video that I put out in the month of December, if you comment on it, if you're subscribed to the channel and you have notifications on, you are entered in a contest at the end of the month where I'm going to give out the spider bot that I bought to review for each of you. I do want to say this is my favorite photo that I could find of me in Disneyland. So many to pick from, but I do want to say, hey, thank you so much for going on this journey with me, for listening to the podcast as I made it weekly as soon as the park closed and we realized it wouldn't reopen. Thank you for coming over here and watching these YouTube videos I've been putting together. Like, I know that so many of you thank me for taking you into the park, but you really do go into the park with me. And so it's a very symbiotic relationship because it seems that you enjoy the content, but you have no idea how much I enjoy your companionship and your mutual love of Disneyland with me. I know this is a little bit of a different video. I know that this is most likely going to happen any day now, and the best thing that could happen is that I could be absolutely wrong, and I'm always happy to be wrong because that means there's room for improvement. Friends, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope these 13 things that are going to cheer up me or future Brickey will also help cheer you up as well and give you perspective that if we all work together, we can get through this much faster than if we work against one another. Friends, until the next time I see you at Downtown Disney or in virtual Disney or whatever type of Disneyland we create together, I'll see you back here on the channel with more Disneyland news. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being a part of my community. I sincerely appreciate you showing up and helping me build this, you and I, together. Oh, come on, Disneyland, don't close. Don't close. If loving you is right, I don't want to be wrong, but I want to be wrong.